I am Cris Von Erik. Come on, Franklin. That's hot. Are you serious? If you walk around looking like that, you deserve it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Cris Von Erik. This is The Red Lens. And with me tonight, as always, is my trusted co-host, Franklin. How are you this evening?
I'm doing okay, man. I can't complain. I'm doing all right. I'm ready to roll. Can't wait.
You can complain a little bit.
You know what? I probably can. Just a little bit, but I'm not going to go too crazy over it.
It's almost Friday, so
that's
you
true.
You can shit talk, whatever. All right. Well, let's put all that aside.
Right.
First and foremost, guys out there, the live call-in number is 224-231-4652. That is the live call-in number. We're going to have that open right now, but again, as we always do in our first segment with the guests that we have on, we ask you to kind of hold off for a little while, and then if you want to ask a question about something that the guest is disseminating information, whatever, you can do that, but just hold off a little bit until we get the ball rolling. And also after that, if any of the other segments you want to call in, then you can do that too. So as always, if you wish to get involved with the program, you can do so through Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Cris Von Erik, and we appreciate that. You should be following us on Twitter @Von Erik. This way you can see all the little brain droppings that Franklin and I put up there. Very important. And in our
brains I can keep, tell you the truth.
What's that?
You need all the brains I can keep, tell you the truth.
That's right. And the associated Facebook page, this is the dedicated Facebook page for this program. And it also serves as, I'm losing my voice, Franklin. Oh my God.
What's that all about, man?
I don't know.
Say something.
It's something that happened when we started to change the seasons,
Maybe it's a tea in the green room.
It may be. But Facebook.com/Cris Von Erik. We simultaneously shoot the episodes up there live. So if you don't like YouTube for some reason, you can catch the live broadcast when we do it here at 9:00. But after that, you're going to have to get over to YouTube. And that's why I put this on here. We want you to subscribe, like, and comment on the videos, and hit that damn alert bell because you may miss out. So make sure you do that.
With the alert bell, real quick, if I may jump in there, make sure that make sure that bell has the bell rung symbol.
Oh yeah,
sometimes people hit one and that's it, but it's got to make sure it's got the bell rung signal, and this way you won't miss anything.
Right, and finally, SoundCloud.com/Cris Von Erik with the little dashes. That's the select audio versions of some of our episodes. You can get that right there. Okay. And without further ado, Franklin, our guest tonight, he's very unique. And I tell you right now, there's people that, they come out and they talk about, knowing their stuff, whatever that subject matter is. They talk about like living off the land and getting in there and getting into nature and really learning about it. But they don't do it, I think, nearly as well and intricate as our guest does tonight. And we're going to bring him up here. Joe Mercado, how are you doing tonight, Joe?
Oh, doing great, Chris. Good to see you. How you doing, Franklin?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, absolutely. We thank you for coming in for a little while anyway. Now, just to give people a little rough overview of what you do in general, I wasn't lying when I said that you studied and researched the various herbal supplements and plants and things in nature that a lot of people may overlook in terms of nutrition and really healing. Is that correct?
Yes, that's 100% correct, Chris.
Oh, all right. Now, what was this like an area of study? Did you Did you do it in high school at all on some level, or was it afterwards?
Well, just to give you a little brief background on my history. I was actually, when I was born with very low testosterone levels. So since I was a kid, even from my birth till about even at 10 years old, I started being monitored by an endocrinologist who basically was just overseeing my both my test levels, my hormone levels. There was a lot of how could I say, disorder going on inside my pituitary gland. And because of that, it was dropping down my levels of my LSH, VSH, and TSH, which are certain hormonal balances that communicate with the pituitary. And because of that, I decided that it's something that I want to make some changes in my life and get off the injections that I was having to give myself and be given by the endocrinologist. And it's something that I know that changed my life so drastically that I know if I was going through some health-related issues, how many other people out there in the world are going through the same thing that I'm going through, but don't know how to implement the solution or the remedy to really, take their own measure into their own hands.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, for a long time, I still think that Franklin over there needs some testosterone. So if he can go out and get it in his local woods, he should do that.
Well, it'll probably be a lot cheaper. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than going to the drugstore. That's for sure.
Yes.
I'll give you that.
Definitely.
Now, have you also found, like, are there herbs and plants out there to help, with mental status and to improve like your mood? Because a lot of people are on all sorts of downers and uppers and whatnot and sedatives.
At one time.
Listen, a lot of people going through that. We're under a lot of stress, a lot of pressure in life. We're all going through some mental distraught. At times we're going through some, good moments. But when those, let's say, negative moments arrive, instead of like there's a lot of medications for depression, anxiety. I know those are big key terms out there on the internet, what people are going through. But yes, there are some, quite a few naturistic options, that people could actually introduce into their body, such as, let's say, ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is used for depression, anxiety, amongst many other things. But, those are the two that identify that. Valerian root seems to take over the aspect of people that take Xanax. So there are a lot of other options. It's just being familiar with those options, knowing what they do, knowing their side effects, what you can mix them with, and, and basically, the intake of it. Sometimes our body chemistry is built up with so much toxins that if we don't detoxify before putting something new into our system, it can have a conflict of interest.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah. And then you wind up getting completely messed up and not knowing, which way to go at that point. Now,
Right.
if people want to find you and your information, they can find you through this Facebook link here, right? Now, the Plenergy, what is that? Is that the website? Is that what is that you set up there?
Plenergy is a Facebook page where people can come and collectively get knowledge, information. Sometimes I upload videos or just put out the benefits of certain plants that I discover out in nature. I like to upload it right away to the page, so people are getting the content, they're getting the shared value of information, and it's also saving them the time of extensive research.
Nice. And the masterminduniverse.net, what is this? Is another component or something different?
Yes, it actually integrates. It's part of the Plenergy. Plenergy is part of Mastermind University, which is an online global blog directory. So basically what I did was I figured, how cool would it be to really share other people's ideas, thoughts, knowledge. I know there's people out there that have gained a lot more experience and intelligence than I have. And to collectively put that all together and to share it on a vast majority of the social media platforms today saves a lot of people, again, time on having to do the research, where I go out there doing it, collecting that information, bring it into a directory. So if somebody has a question about, let's say, ashwagandha, I can send them directly that link based on the blog post that I created. So they have all the benefits. They have articles, videos, different various means of information. Again, that helps make people's lives easier to understand the knowledge of the plant life.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, that would be that's actually tremendous. So they can get you on either one of those platforms. That's great. Now, are you a local guy? Did you grow up in New York, and where do you spend your time usually?
Yeah, I grew up in a small town called Farmingville on Long Island in New York. I was there till probably about 27 years, then moved down to North Carolina when my parents sold their house. Gave that a shot for a little bit, then came back to New York. originally from here, but what I do is I travel and canvas the Appalachian Mountains all the way up from anywhere from Virginia down to basically Tennessee, Georgia area. And I basically, when I rent cabins, for a period anywhere from 3 to 6 months, and I go and I look for certain plants and herbs and trees, and sometimes also medicinal mushrooms, and knowing the areas of inside the forest where these plants basically where they hibernate is, I find it, taking those travels, I'm able to collect this information and knowledge, not only just identify what these plants are, but also, the compound structures, the benefits, what ailments and symptoms do they help with people that are going through, let's say, ailments, sicknesses, or just not feeling well. So that's where I travel my time. And I spend a lot of my time Long Island right now, just up here with the whole corona virus going on. I've been up here just visiting family, came up here for some business. And what I do where I can right now is just start to spend as much time as I can in nature, discovering more species and, seeing how I can deliver this knowledge and information, to people who are hungry to really keep their immune systems not only boosted and strengthened, but understanding the awareness around them, what's really going on today, and how to basically, take care of ourselves in these times.
Yeah, I mean that's tremendous. I didn't really know that you ventured out into the woods. And Franklin, this guy, Joe is a survivalist.
It's actually very interesting. I was going to ask him more about that.
Sure.
Real quick, it's sort of kind of out of the gate here, but the subject of juicing. Do you juice at all?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. All right.
I do juice, yes.
You've been doing it for a while, long time, a little bit of
I've
time?
been juicing pretty consistently the past 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
I've been introduced to it since I was a kid. My father had a good friend that he used to work with that was given 6 months to live, and he decided to take the juicing route rather than the chemotherapy.
Right.
And what happened was, I remember the exact formula today. It was red apples, it was carrots, parsley, ginger, and I believe that was the main ingredients that he used, and he stuck to that compound for about he lived another 20 years from the juicing. So
Really?
I learned a lot from that. Yes, absolutely.
Well done. I have a friend of mine who's been juicing probably since he came here from Barbados in 1980. No, about 1980, and he's been juicing ever since. He lives out on the West Coast, and he was telling me a lot of the benefits of juicing. And growing up, he's juicing, and he's we're like, hey, okay, Dr. Pepper,
Right.
type of thing. And now of course, we've all grown past that now, but he's been doing it forever. And I've actually had some of his concoctions, wheatgrass and things like that. It's really not bad at all. I mean, it's once you get past the expense of $1,000 blender or a food processor, if you will, and then the actual components ingredients, I should say, that go in it. It's really worth it, and it's really not that the benefits outweigh the taste, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Smart that you say that. It's very smart and wise. If you don't mind me just adding to that, as far as with the juice machine itself, I'll say first is very important. Making that investment, like you said, $1,000 investment, because a lot of these smaller juice machines, we're really not getting the beneficiary out of all the nutrients and the mineral trace compounds. So if you're going to spend, let's say, $200 on a juice machine and you blend up a bunch of vegetables and fruits, you may be getting anywhere from 7 to 17% of the nutrients. When you spend, let's say, $500 to $1,000, there's some out there that are $5,000. The more you invest in those, what happens is the components inside are made, for the different forms of metal. Some of them are titanium plates. Some of them have just different features and functions. But what it does is it processes the fruits and the vegetables so finely that you're getting between 40 and 60% of the nutrients when you make the investment of getting a more higher quality machine.
Which is the whole idea behind it. There's a woman who's this is getting a little off, but there was a woman who used to live next door to me, and her kid didn't like vegetables. But nowadays, if you put everything in a smoothie, your kid will eat it if it's gear oil, okay, and if it's in a smoothie, he or she will drink it. And that's exactly what she did. She spent some ungodly amount of money on a smoothie machine, and she had put vegetables in it and all kinds of healthy things for her kid. And he was eating this, drinking this stuff like it was nobody's business. So it actually worked out. I mean, it's probably all in his head that, oh, now it's good for me. I'm sorry, now it tastes good because it's in the smoothie machine, and it worked out well for her. So, and I see them both from time to time, and they're, pretty healthy people. I mean, now he's probably about 10, 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
But
that's a great age.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely recommend juicing and finding what really works for you too. Because again, everybody's body chemistry is so different. We all have different levels of toxins, neurotoxins. And when you find the right formula that works for your body, I definitely suggest, sticking to it and staying away a lot from stuff that are, there's a lot of vegetables out there that are starch components. You want to stay away from the starch, the yeast, so that doesn't build up mucus to develop mucous membranes inside the cellular systems, which debilitate, our growth and our endurance and our energy levels.
Such as
like spinach contains starch.
Really?
Is a starch component? Yes, it is. Also, like stuff like broccoli. Broccoli is very toxic for the liver because it contains cyanide. If you ever look at broccoli, you look at the top, like the bristles on it are green, but if you look at the stem, it gets white, just like cauliflower. So the whiteness inside the broccoli and cauliflower is actually cyanide, and cyanide is a poison to the liver over time.
Wow, I didn't know that.
my mom's trying to bump me off all these years, trying to eat my spinach. Don't forget your vegetables.
Yeah, but something really good. Like some people say, well, what do I have instead of spinach? What do I eat? Good, replacement for that suggestion would be kale. Yes.
Knew you were going to say that. Knew you were going to say the K letter.
That's right.
The K word.
Now, what do you say to there's a lot of pitches on different types of waters to drink, whether it's bottled, nitrogen infused, and also, is there any merit to all these different waters and enhancements that they try to do to water?
Yeah, there's a lot of protocols to water that are in it and that aren't in it. A lot of stuff like Poland Spring, out there is really basically like tap water just from the sink. A lot of stuff doesn't get filtered right. And going down to the mountains, I discovered that, you can, drinking mountain spring water, because you have springs and you have well water. So if you have like well water and it's dug in the right spot, you can have like ancient sand, dirt, and gravel underneath there on the rocks and the rock minerals that filter it so well that you're having like original compounds of hydrogen and oxygen, could be a million years. You can go to a creek or something and it could be loaded with parasites. So even from a spring, so you got to really know how to test the water. I always recommend testing the water, and having a water that's really alkaline is very important. So when we keep our bodies in an alkaline environment, it makes it very difficult or nearly impossible for sickness and disease to not just enter our body, but really to take over. Even once it tries to get in there, to take over the environment makes it very difficult, because a lot of diseases such as cancer can only survive in an acidic environment. But at the same time, even though there's a lot of fruits and vegetables out there that are acidic, it's knowing when to use those fruits and vegetables, when not to, and also knowing what to mix it with and what not to mix it with. But to go back to your water question, my favorite is a John Ellis water machine. It's what happens is what they do is this deuterium depleted water system where it does a reverse osmosis anywhere from 400, 500, 600, 700 times. So it's clearing the pathways inside the water molecules, so those water molecules can actually adhere to the original molecular structure inside the human body. So that way, because water has so much memory in it, it can remember things from 30, 40 years ago, on different practices of the body, the things we eat, how it breaks down, absorbs foods, acidic acids, and neutralizes these base compounds. So our body can become more familiar with itself, that we can have a higher peak performance on a daily activity.
Wow. Is there a particular pH that you recommend, or that really doesn't play into it?
The pH on alkaline starts at a 7 and go up to 11.5, and you can go a bit higher. But it really those are the balance medium that you want to keep in mind. And I like to keep having a water between 9.0 and 9.5. Some people can say, well, I can take 11, put it in water, that'll make it alkaline. There's other ways of doing that. I personally got used to the spring water. Got a little spoiled with that. But when you're out venturing around, sometimes you gotta purify your own water as best as you can if you're out in the wilderness. But if you're not, there's certain outfits out there. I just find that these water systems inside the home are very effective. But I always recommend and encourage people, just do your research, do your comparative analysis. Ask people that have the experience with the product, but that would be the best answer I can give you.
Yeah, and then we could definitely go to your website and send you questions and seek you out.
Absolutely.
For those questions, right?
Yeah, you can go on the masterminduniverse.net and type in John Ellis, and it'll come up with the water machine video.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow, that's cool.
Now, one of the questions that Franklin was too embarrassed to ask, I'll ask it, is
Far
in
away.
your ventures out there in Virginia or wherever you're going, did you ever find any of the ayahuasca stuff out there?
Yeah, that stuff is pretty powerful. I actually came across something along those lines that Native Americans use, because they use so much of this plant-based medicine. It's called a mimosa tree, and the mimosa tree.
Mimosa, okay.
Yes. Actually, the bark on that tree can be used, as long as it's boiled properly, can be used as a psychedelic treatment, to activate DMT molecules in the brain. Mm-hmm. And the flowers on that can actually be made into a medicine. The only thing on that tree that you cannot have is the seeds that are in the pods that grow in between the branch and the flower. Because those are poisonous.
You do that, Franklin, and it'll be like Bruce Willis, the kid on The Sixth Sense, people.
Yeah, watch those seeds, Franklin.
If I remember correctly, I think my mom used to have mimosas.
You used to feed your seeds?
Yeah, see that? I knew she was trying to bump me off. Make sure you eat the seeds, Franklin, growing up. But that's indigenous. That's around the area, New York area, correct?
They actually, they're some upstate. You can probably find them around somewhere along Long Island. I don't see them too common. But I know that they're upstate, but I know definitely they grow wildly down south, especially a lot on people's properties. I think people have them up here.
And I'll tell you this. We've had a few servicemen come on, and they swear by a lot of those medicinal things that ayahuasca does. They suffered from like severe PTSD
and depression,
and they swear that they came out the other side and they were clearer. They were more determined to do stuff. So, I guess it works for some people. So.
Yes, I definitely heard a lot of case studies that it does help, very much so.
Really?
Now, are you married? Do you have kids?
No, not married, no children.
Mm-hmm.
Just been venturing off and just enjoying life a little bit and really making some explorations, on this quest. And
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. I was going to say that'd be a little tough, to have a wife and be like, okay, well, I'll see you in a month.
Yeah,
in
right.
6 months, we're going to go live in the woods.
Yeah, I'll come back with some good stuff, I swear.
Yeah, no, it's a little rough, but it definitely works out. Taking this time to dedicate and again collect all these species and make this medicinal product, because I know that it works. Even giving it to friends, family, and different clients. A lot of this stuff, from people that have 104 fever. I've given this one time to a friend years ago and made a concoction, and within 24 hours, that 104 went down to a 98.6.
Wow, that's impressive.
There you go.
Yes.
Holy shit.
So it's all about, these herbal teas really do work. And I think the first things first is really, it's got to deal with, the mind. The mindset plays a really important major role, because you have to have the belief in something and you have to want it. And if you don't want it and have the belief, you're wasting your time and the plant's time. So it's important that, the structure of the mind, is in knowing and believing, have to go hand in glove. Because once you believe something and then you know it to be so, belief is just a foreground to knowing. And that's what I feel that has helped me and has enabled me, and I feel other people as well, to have a lot of these components in this plant medicine actually work.
Yeah, and I think you're 100% on that. And I think the people, and I'll say this to everybody out there watching that is interested in looking into these things and seeking you out, give the feedback when you're done using these things, and write about the benefits, because I think that's what's important. Having those people have those experiences, and then documenting that so that people know that this is an alternative. You don't have to maybe go to the doctor and take some pumped up medication. You may get results naturally. So
yeah, that's the key word, like you said. It's a natural option, right, rather than alternative. Because I feel that nature's been here before before anyone, the doctors before, the medications have been man-made, and that component is really right in our backyard. And if we just take that leap of faith and just understand that what's surrounding us is really needed to go inside of us. Mm-hmm. It's just making that wild discovery and just saying, hey, I can do this, and this is what it takes, and here are the tools to go get that done. Because let's face it, for both you, Chris and Franklin, you can't put a price tag on your health. Without our health, we have nothing.
And we're seeing that today playing out right in front of our eyes.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely. Where is the furthest place that you ventured to investigate, or maybe you went maybe you went on a quest like Indiana Jones? You went on a quest to to find something very rare. Have you done that yet?
Not yet, but that is definitely on my to-do list, or quote unquote bucket list, is to take basically an international plant expedition and start going to different countries, because I've already done the research on where the plants that I know that I need that don't grow here in the United States, that are out, let's say, Australia, Peru, or South Africa. There's a lot of stuff in Indonesia, New Zealand. These are some prime time countries and places where some of these plants that they're just so highly medicinal, so potent, definitely, I'm hungry and I'm thirsty to go out and venture them out. But as far as I'm here in the U.S., just gone down into the forest, down into the Carolinas, and check things out. In the Hotla Forest, Pisgah Forest, and Thomas Jefferson Forest up near the West Virginia area. So these are some of the key areas. I think I start local, try to really understand what's going on here in the northeastern side of the United States, and then start to widen, my options out, and start traveling and helping people make discoveries in their own yard.
Yeah, no, that's, to me, that's really priceless, and it's an untapped area, to be very honest with you. So, what do you think, Franklin?
Well, you said literally it's in your back. You said what's in your backyard. I said, what? Literally, it is in your backyard. Right. With the trees and roots and stuff. I think in New Zealand there's a Maori. I think they're from New Zealand or parts of Australia, that there's a plant, and once again, I don't know the name, that is supposed to not calm you down, but it's supposed to help you. Well, I'll call it relax, just to relax. And he mixed this, green. It's a green plant, and it's mixed with water and some other. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but I saw this on. It was a traveling show. It was actually on TV, and sadly, it's a little cryptic. But it's like the Maori tribe,
right?
And, they mixed this with water, warm water, and something that they ingested that actually calmed them down, or just gave them a euphoric feeling, type of a thing. And I was wondering if you had ever heard of that, because you said you were looking into New Zealand or possibly Australia.
Yes. Yeah, and that particular plant we talk about, I'm not 100% sure, because there's 391,000 species out there. So to kind of guess at it.
Oh, is that all?
Much? No, that's it.
Franklin, give him a break. Jeez.
No, that's it. No, but I'm getting there, Franklin. I'm almost there.
I think Franklin wants to go with you on one of your expeditions.
Oh, I'd love to go to Australia or Zealand.
Hey, come on! I'll take both of you guys. You gotta have a little crew with you.
Now, the airfares are cheap right about now.
I think I'll send Franklin out with you, and then he can report back, or maybe give me some live in the field stuff.
Man in the street.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, whatever works. Sometimes
a microphone in the middle of the woods. We are here gathered.
That's right. You swing from a monkey's tail, land a croc's head. We just venture off. Like what was that game on Atari when we were kids? Was it Pitfall?
Oh, that's right.
Don't worry about the 12 tribesmen that are in the background here.
No, don't worry about them. They're good. But one of the plants that are over there, there's a thing called like a red plant. There's also called it's called a gumby plant. That's a really popular one, especially in Australia. And a lot of these plants, are used to basically, there's some stuff out there that's a remedy for all, or certain things that even like the pharmaceutical companies use. They'll have wildcrafters go out and fetch some of these herbs and plants, bring them back to a lab, and start dissecting, going in and start understanding the quantum biological compounds. And that's how they come up with a lot of this integrated medicine stuff. But it's really interesting, like you said, Franklin, because there is so much stuff out there. New Zealand just got so much forestry, so much just wilderness. But there's just so much untapped resources. And I feel the only way to do it is to really go out and just explore and, get a hands-on experience. And on top of that, do a little self-experimentation, because before I recommend anything, I always experiment on myself. And I've done that a few times where I've even experienced even a plant poisoning where I was nearly on my deathbed.
Oof.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Sure. So I was down in about less than a year ago, about say 8-9 months ago. I was down in NC, a little outside of Asheville, and living in a small town. And basically, I was doing I was actually doing some gardening and doing some stone work. And I also had found a plant called a mullenweed. Mullenweed grows pretty commonly, around here. And what that does is the mullenweed is used for insomnia, it's used for upper respiratory, bronchitis. So I was leaving the driveway one day and I found it, while I was exiting out the cabin, and I said, oh my God, I'm running out of this plant. I need this, because I barely had a little bit left. So that night I was so excited that I took the piece that they usually, it's a fuzzy kind of a plant. If you look it up, I can always check it out. It's called mullenweed. It's called this common mullen. There's a whole bunch of different species. This one was a woolly mullen, and it had these hair follicles on it. My fault was I didn't do correctly, was I didn't dry it out long enough. I took the tea, literally, Franklin, Chris, about maybe 20 minutes into drinking this tea, not even. It felt like somebody shot an elephant dart right into my neck, and I was so sedated that I couldn't even think straight. And I knew the tea looked a little dark. I said, I'll be all right. I've taken this before. I made it so much lighter. So to get to the point, I ended up taking that, had a little bit of reaction that night, got up the next day, went out, did my thing, doing some stonework gardening, touched a sumac plant with a rubber glove, threw it out the way. Then I felt a mosquito on my back, put my hand, reached behind my back, did a little scratch. And then all of a sudden, I ended up breaking out the following morning with these giant boil blisters, which I ended up bringing myself to emergency, and they were called the Bulius pemphigoid. Bulius pemphigoid, if you ever look, you can look that up too in your spare time. The boils on there are like giant golf balls that grow on your ankles, your thighs, the back of your legs. They can grow on your armpits, on your chest, and it's like having poison ivy, chicken pox, and a lighter fluid and a match on your body all day. You can't move. You can barely use the bathroom. You really literally have to crawl to these things. And I was, now picture this. I'm in the middle of a 50 acres surrounded by 300 acre rainforest in a small, tiny cabin, less than 500 square feet. It's just me alone. There's no neighbors, no street lights. And I'm there in bed for almost 2 months. And I finally was able to get myself to the ER. And they said it was the most bizarre thing that they've ever seen in this case. And they never seen a case like that. Had 9 nurses come in to take a look at me. And they said that this was their exact words. I feel sorry for you. And I said, why is that? They said, because this will never go away. And this will be either from a minimum of 5 years, you'll have this every day, or for the rest of your life. And I said, if you want to get it fixed, you have to go see a dermatologist, and you have to pay $4,000 a month for the medication, for the shots.
So it's like malaria. It'll either stay for 5 years or you'll have it forever?
That's right. Yeah. And they didn't compare it to malaria, but, I could see how that could be so on certain instances. But what I did was I said, you know what? I'm not going to live and deal with this. 9 out of 10 people that I looked up doing the research was suicidal or committing suicide because of the fact that the pain was so bad that they couldn't sleep. I'm lucky if I got 15 minutes of sleep a night. I'd be up for days. So what I did was I started taking cayenne pepper, cumin powder, peroxide baking soda, paprika, all the reds, all the spicy stuff that most people wouldn't tolerate if you put it all together. I started making, and I added some turmeric and ginger in there, and I started to make almost like a toothpaste with all these compounds. And I started pasting this stuff all over my body. And between that, I used potassium permanganate, which is actually used in World War II to stop bullet wounds. When they had the medic got shot, they would use potassium permanganate to prevent the blood from pouring out. It would seal up the wounds. It speeds up the stem cell process for healing. And I use that stuff also on my body, knowing some of the dangerous, the detriments to it. But I was very careful, very precise, did my exact measurements that I need to do. And I just, again, going back to that, you have to have that confidence. You have to have that faith and that mindset that you have to see the healing already taking place before it happens. Otherwise, once that ounce of fear kicks in, you could create a reverse polarity effect, which basically transitions the energy to go against you rather than for you. So these are the things that are going on while all this is taking place in my head, and making these pastes, getting up, taking it, and then taking goldenrod, white pine tea, and turmeric and ginger in the form of a tea, and figwort. I combined those, took them 3 to 4 times a day. Within 90 days, I was completely remedied.
Really?
That's right.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
Yeah, it sure is.
So the only time that I'll have any form of reaction is if I have something that has, like, even if I have, let's say, even if it's a cheat meal or a snack or a glass of vino, like the sulfites in there, like, will disturb and create little tiny spots that are a little itchy, but then they go away within a day. But I just stay away from the stuff, I stay away from the dairy, have no red meats, and, I don't have any of those outbreaks. So when the doctors say you'll never get over this, it'll never heal, it's not curable, there's always an option when it comes to Mother Nature.
Yeah,
sure. So this is all topical. The potion that you made with all the reds in it, was you applied it topically? Topically, I guess, is that a?
Yes, I did. Absolutely.
Okay.
I applied it topically, but you also have to take care of internally, because it's when you have a poison like that from a plant that goes in your system, it's in the blood system.
It's there.
So what happens is the skin has 27 different layers of collagen. So when type 27 gets removed, you have a thing called melanonin, not melatonin, melanonin that is activated in between layers 3 and 5 of the skin. So once that gets removed and you lose certain proteins or enzymes, it keeps the skin from other forms of infection, which prevent boils, blisters. Once that gets taken out, now you have nothing protecting your layers of skin. That's where the giant blisters come into play. So you have to repair that protein by actually taking different forms of collagen. And because of the goldenrod, which contains a flavonoid called quercetin, which is basically, it's an antioxidant. That also helps rehabilitate, the melanonin. But again, it's knowing how to combine those elements so you can revitalize your body back to its origin.
Wow, well done.
Amazing.
Oof. Close call there, huh?
Oh, very much. Yeah, 2 months of hell. That was enough for me. Yes. But being alive to tell the tale, there's always a positive for every negative experience. It's just getting through it, and it's mind over matter, and really that mindset. And just sometimes you got to create certain things, and you say, well, I'm not sure if you can't say to yourself, well, this might not work. You have to really, be in it to know that it is going to work. So
this will work.
I'll tell you, Franklin, like, they have these stupid shows on, these networks, and these guys going out there, in nature and whatnot. This is a guy right here. They gotta watch this, and they gotta get this guy out there. Could you imagine a show and him giving testimonials about things he's done? I mean, just that one story alone is utterly amazing.
I actually don't like to admit this, but I actually tuned into one of those about a month and a half ago, and I'm sure it's all scripted, and I'm sure they're not going to drop some guy in the woods, no clothes on, and a compass and a knife. I'm sure he's not going to know what to eat, what not to eat. I'm sure that he's just not going to start, carving leaves and making them salad in the middle of nowhere. Okay. I think they were in Belize or someplace like that. Do you think there's do you think that those shows are scripted? And do you think that it's real?
Well, it depends on the show, and it depends on the origin of the show. But I like something like Naked and Afraid. I know that's
the show. I'm sorry, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think. Some of those stuff I believe, but they do have like medics, cameramen out there to make sure, because there is some dangerous terrain, going across around the world. When they drop them off like that, and I do believe that these people have to have their interview before they go on the show. They have to have a certain level of skill set to go do that, and they do sign a waiver, and that they basically your life's on the line.
I know Survivor, they do that. They sign waivers and stuff, and I've actually known a person that was on Survivor, and it's the same. Like you said, it is scripted, and when they leave the island, they don't necessarily leave because they don't want them going back to the main shore to kind of spill the beans. So they kind of have like a little hotel area where they set them up. Even if you get voted out first, you got to spend like friggin' 3 weeks.
You got to wait it out. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're right. They have to make sure you're not imbalanced or anything like that, because they can't have you freaking out and hurting other people. So
No, definitely not.
So if something with 17 legs bites you, you don't have to worry about dying.
yeah.
Nah, you just grow an extra leg.
There you go.
Right? Just get the cayenne paste.
There you go.
Yeah, just throw that in there in the mix.
Burn it out. There you go.
Oof,
So, where do you see, the venture that you're putting forth with the website? I know you touched on it before. You want to go international and see some of these areas and try to find these supplements and these herbs and these other foreign places. In addition to that, where do you see, what you're doing taking you and, building towards?
That's a great question, Chris. And where I see this adventure going is ultimately I want to be able to reach and help more people. Not only just stay healthy, but staying healthy is one thing, but having life longevity is another. And it starts at the beginning of the health process, but it's also understanding what have we done with ourselves up until this point, and what are the things that we've already ingested that we weren't familiar with and we didn't know wasn't good for us. How do we rid of some of that toxic waste so we can make room for the new, let's say, plant and Herbalife and superfoods is what they call them. Basically, superfoods they're foods that contain electricity. They're electrical foods, because we're electrical, and it's really helping other people get out there, introducing these electrical foods and compounds to really educate the masses so that people can become more familiar, and where we can actually take the nature outside and make it where it's more like second nature to people's lifestyles, the homes of families and children, so we can carry on this knowledge and this wisdom into the next generations to come, because the next generations are really going to set the sail for where we go, not just in our country but overall for our planet.
I agree, and I think having somebody like you to put a face on this herbal this herbal aspect is a great thing, because it's funny, we've advanced so much with technology and all this other stuff in the last 20 years. This stuff is still looked at like witchcraft voodoo. Like, oh my God, what are you crazy? You're ingesting, diluted plant juice or whatever, what are you, nuts? But, some of the stuff that we're injecting to cure, the illnesses we have now are traced with poisons too. It's just the balance and the way and the measurements. So, I say that, people like you that believe in this stuff, that hell are living testaments of it, really should, people should listen to you and just at least hear you out, because I think we're missing out on that.
Well, there's something to it. What we have here now is the face of Big Pharma. He's going to single-handedly put Monsanto out of business.
There you go. Right.
Big Pharma, rather, not Monsanto, right. But Big Pharma.
All right.
That's right, and it's very true, But I really appreciate that, Chris. It definitely means a lot, and there's definitely so much out there that people can benefit from all of this. It's just knowing where to go, and what to do once you get to that point of being there.
Well, I think what they should do, and I'm going to tell everybody here that they got to go to your Facebook page. It's up there right now, facebook.com/Plenergy, MMH, and also the masterminduniverse.net. You can go there. These are invaluable resources of stuff that you may or really have never looked into before, and get in touch with Joe here and find out about these things. And Joe, I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for coming on. And yes, in a fraction of time, I can't believe how much we found out. And thank you for sharing the stories. That's great.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you so much for the both of you. It's been definitely a great, awesome pleasure to be here and have your presence and the questions that you ask. And I just want to say I greatly appreciate you and what you guys do, because I know you put a valuable effort, into helping people and, sharing knowledge, wisdom, and our experiences, because I really feel that we could all learn from each other in that respect. So again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No, absolutely. And when that day comes and you go out there and you find something new, I want you to come back and, come on and tell us how that was and what you did. All right?
Absolutely. Will do.
Okay. Have a great night, my man.
All right.
Thank you. You too, Chris. Take care, Franklin.
Thanks for coming. Please come back again.
So there you go.
That was interesting. That was interesting as heck.
Oh, interesting is not even the word. Again, we have a lot of people on here that, claim to be experts on things, and we do stuff. We do stuff with guys and dating and stuff like that. But when you get somebody that is like a living embodiment of what they are involved in, it's amazing. Frankly, he's over there telling us about. He almost died. He was laid up in.
He was this far from death, dude. I was on the edge of my seat. I mean, I knew how it was going to come out because he was here, but that's unbelievable. That is.
Yeah. Just, tremendous, really tremendous. Let's see here what some of the people watching. Greg said it was very interesting. I agree. Pete Fitzpatrick feels that he was grounded. I believe that too. Greg says it's what the ancient native Indians did, and the Chinese. Yeah, those are two groups that I think even to this day they're still doing stuff like that. So, and Wally either agrees or doesn't know what China is. So,
gonna have to find out more about that. The Maoris, and I believe once again it was either New Zealand or Australia, and exactly what they were taking that made them relax and to come down.
Peyote.
You know what? It's probably something along with peyote. It's probably something along those lines. But
what?
What was that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's probably something along those lines. But it was interesting.
Yeah, no, it's tremendous. And I want to tell people out there, if you want to comment, or maybe you have a story of going into the wilderness and eating some plants, you can call us at 224-231-4652. So.
Thank you, Peter. Yes, Maori tribe. Thank you very much, Peter.
So that's what that was.
I wasn't sure if I butchered the pronunciation.
That's okay.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that.
So, but Franklin, again, just
what
to put a
smart
little
group
more on
we
that.
have.
What?
What a smart group of listeners we have.
Well, smart asses, maybe. But no. To put a little bow on that, just really, a tremendous guy, and very interesting stuff. I just very impressed with that.
Local boy too.
Yeah.
From New York.
Yeah.
From New York.
Which I didn't know beforehand, but that was great. Let's see. We do have a caller here.
Oh.
So let's get him on.
Who is our caller tonight, Chris?
Let's see. Minimize this. Oh, there we go. Hello, 631. This is Chris. You're on the air.
Oh.
Hello, 631. This is Chris. All right, you're gonna have to turn your radio down and speak. Maybe not. Okay, it seems that they had some problems there.
You better fire the call screener, Chris.
If you what?
I think you'd better fire the call screener.
I know. Well, maybe if they get their audio straightened out, they can call back and share their story of being out in the wilderness. Let's see. Wally says, does this guy have a blog or website? Well, it was up there all the time, so I know that Wally was late to the program, but here you go. You can find him at masterminduniverse.net, and he also has a Facebook page, which is right there, facebook.com/Plenergy MMH. So those two websites, you can get in contact with Joe and maybe find out some stuff to help you out.
Mr. Bullrush, I'm not 100% sure what it was called. It was a while ago when I saw this. It was on television, but you know what? It could have very well been that. But I know the Maori tribe. That's the tribe. I know that for a fact because it was that I remember. So it could have very well been Kava. But thank you for pointing that out.
I think I dated a girl from the Maori tribe once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
A lot of tattoos did she have?
Yeah, she did. It was all over, not on her face. I couldn't deal with that.
I saw a guy the other day. I was in the 7-Eleven who had a teardrop out of his eye. It's like right, just as my eyes started tearing just now, had a teardrop coming out. I was like, you know what? That must have hurt like hell. Oh,
so was it? Yeah. Well, first, I think Franklin ran into a what is it? Latin Kings gang member.
Oh, I was in Brentwood, Long Island, New York. So
there you go.
It could have very well been. So
there you go. Well, speaking of crazy things that have been going on, I did find something interesting that I wanted to share with you and everybody out there. We know that businesses right now are having a tough time. Everybody's kind of doing everything they can to kind of keep their heads above water. Well, there was a club, a strip club in I think it was Texas, that tried to open up as a restaurant with entertainment.
Oh boy.
This is a Texas strip club that tried to rebrand itself as that. And basically after the first day, they basically got raided and that was it. So it says the Club Onyx is in Houston. And they tried
Houston's supposed to be a hot place to hang out.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun.
So but yeah, so soon after their attempt to be entrepreneurs, they were closed. So yeah. My waitress is very good, but she's so poor she has no clothes.
Yeah.
So
there was also a guy, I forget where, it was in New Jersey, that was giving haircuts in the bed of his pickup truck outside.
Oh yeah. I heard about that too.
Yeah. I was just like, really? Okay.
Jay says that was probably MS-13 that you ran into.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Take your word for it. I don't mess with, actually, it's very interesting you mentioned that. Years and years ago, I actually, there was a club in, where was it? Farmingdale, New York. And I started talking to the girlfriend of a higher up in, I'm not sure if it was MS-13, Nietes, or any of the rest of them. And I didn't know anybody. I started talking to her. And then the bartender, no, this is a true story. And the bartender told me I should leave the club. I'm like, why? And then I realized, I turned around and looked, and there were guys staring at me. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to leave. And I left. I drove all the way into Manhattan. Okay, turned around and came back to make sure there's nobody following me to my house, on the eastern end of New York, because I was scared and I had no idea. And I'm just, this is before, MS-13, all that was big, but it's big now. But yeah, Brooklyn streets. There's actually a couple of places like that where you can get cut in the back with the lights down, but it's by appointment only type of a thing.
Are you serious? Or is it like the back alley?
Yeah, it's a back. I mean, not all stores in Manhattan have back doors. You can only go through the front. But what happens is if you know a barber, you give him a call. Okay.
They say, see a broad to get that booty yak 'em, lay it down or smack 'em, yak 'em. Oh, got to be. Shit.
Yeah. And what you do is you give him a call, and he'll meet you at, in the barbershop. You go around back or whatever it is, and he'll cut your hair. I mean, the nail salons have been doing this for a couple of weeks now. They've been open in the city, out and open. If I may, Chris, Mr. Bullrush, check in this kava. May already make a drink out of it to share with the guests. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So there you go.
See, like I said, we've got the smartest audience in the world. These guys.
I know. Smart, funny,
comedic,
erotic.
What else you got for us, Chris?
Well, basically, in addition to that place in Texas, there was a place in Oregon. Another of these strip places. They had drive-through.
Wow.
They literally had a drive-through. Topless takeout.
What exactly were you taking out?
Well, I mean, they basically they had. Let me just take a look here. They had this. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
So
well,
you can get
and very handsome. Yeah.
You can get the Happy Meal is actually handing you your food. So
you got something against your achievement?
No, absolutely not. So
that's actually pretty good. And where was that place, by the way? I might
that
have
was
to go there and get me a burger.
They tried to do that. A strip place was, and they claim like, oh well, we're just giving people something that they want, some entertainment. So okay,
Not for nothing. I bet you the food was terrible.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like going to what's it called? It's like going to what's it, Hooters, and complaining about the food there.
Right. But it's just crazy stuff. Now, in the world of celebrities, I thought this was pretty telling, and we get this a lot with what's happening now with. I mean, here in New York, it's been about 50 some odd days that people have been kind of locked down and can't go too many places.
People are still doing it,
but they are. They
pisses me off too.
I know. I have seen that, but these celebrities are not immune to getting on each other's nerves, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, where there was this anomaly of people wanting to get divorces, and literally. A very famous ex-quarterback, he's going through his own thing right now where they're basically getting divorced, and they are now in a parenting share. Okay, so Jay Cutler, who was a quarterback, you can see it on the screen. Some of the guys that know sports might know this guy. That's his wife, who's not bad. Well, again, they basically are separated, but now are having a hard time here. As you can see here, it says that she's claiming that he's hiding money from her, and they're going to do some kind of co-parenting. So it says here the 33-year-old Calaveri. So, okay. So she basically marries this guy probably like 10 years ago. And now at 33, she's looking to get out. And now they have a parenting plan.
Oh boy.
So
which for her is going to include what, Chris? Cash and prizes?
That's right. Cash and prizes.
It's like The Price is Right.
Yeah. But I mean, this is just par for the course, and again, like I said, celebrities are not immune to what this is, and we're gonna see this in another thing that I'm gonna bring up here right now. and everybody knows who Will Smith is, right? I would
Yeah.
imagine. You
Bit of
know,
a bonehead, but yeah, we know who he is.
you know, he is kind of goofy now, but it says here Jada Pinkett Smith, and you know, she says she doesn't even know who he is at all. So she basically says now, since she's spent all the time inside with him, there are things that she doesn't even know about him.
Oh boy.
You know, and this is great. This is great. You know, the way she phrases it's challenging. You're forced to look at things differently. You know, like what's challenging about, you know, looking at I mean, they've been married for a while. I mean, it says, well, let's see, does this article tell us how long they've been married?
I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean,
But it's been a while.
It's been a while. They've had 2 kids together, but again, you know, it's just the mere fact that, you know, now all of a sudden, since, you know, they've had to be cooped up together, it's his fault. You know, oh my God, I don't know, you know, what's up with him? You know, maybe it's like, what's up with you? So,
You're not the same man I married.
I know.
You can't be. Well, what is this? Get out of here. Smack.
Forget him.
Well, you know, yeah, it's funny. My friend Catherine, she told me this, and I think I told you this way back, that this situation is going to result in divorces, separations.
Oh, yeah.
And I told her, and I told you, Chris, and I told the audience, I think you're crazy. I thought just the opposite. I thought that people were gonna stay together and just make babies because there was nothing else to do. She was right. I had no idea that this was going to cause such, I guess, strife or whatever in marriages or stress, I should say, in a household. So people are splitting up, they're divorcing, and all like that. And as a matter of fact, in Japan, my buddy Chris told me this. In Japan, there's a house. It's like an Airbnb that you could rent for $40. So you get away from your spouse, and so you don't end up ripping him or her head off. So you go to some other place and you stay for a week or a day, you know, a week or whatever it is. Okay, I think it's
so. It's like an exit house.
Basically, it's what it is. Yeah, but it's better than, you know, staying in the house and then having the cops come because it's a crime scene. Okay, so you could basically, it's getting away. Because apparently, you know, the divorce is on the uptick in Japan even before this, which, you know, but that was very interesting.
Yeah, and you know, it's just crazy to me because you even have this. Here's another one. Everybody knows this guy. Well, if you're ever into, I don't know, people that's seen the Jersey Shore out there. But this guy, Ronnie, who used to be on there, basically, he copped a plea deal in a domestic violence case. So here we go. Again, it says the Jersey Shore family vacation star who was 34 pleaded no contest to domestic battery. Okay, so now it's like taking up a tick here. And he lives in somewhere in Nevada. They don't really tell you. But he's going to be required to pay $2,000 to a woman's shelter as part of what? Well, I guess what did he hit? Did he hit his
$2,000 and then 20,000?
Yeah.
What the hell was that? Jesus.
So I guess that's what he has to pay to, you know, to his girlfriend or wife or whoever she is. You know,
dude, that's one expensive backhand.
Oh, jeez, I know. That's crazy. So,
you know what? I watched the very first Jersey Shore, and that was about it.
So, let's catch up with some of these.
I can't believe it's still on TV, to tell you.
Rob, hey, Rob's in the chat.
There he is.
Hey, Rob. Yeah, that's right. Smash that like. You know, it's funny. I always forget to say that, Franklin. I have to, you know, to tell people like Like the damn video. Let's go. And subscribe. That's right. Subscribe, like, and comment. Let's go. Hit that alert bell. Bull Rush says, like the old saying goes, Franklin, absence. That's true. Makes the heart grow fonder.
It's supposed to. That's for sure.
In this case, you're not killing the other person.
Hey now.
There he is. Rob, I got your emails, and I had to order some lights and things, so we'll be good. Thanks for all your help, man.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, well, everybody knows that because we had that episode where basically, again, talking about like experts in different areas, Rob basically gave everybody a tutorial of how to set up a green screen and get yourself started. So that was tremendous. And share it. Yes, share the video out. Share it out. Let's go.
What else we got, Chris?
Let's see. Good deal. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to take a look at is another thing that I found is that there was a Capitals player, hockey. Okay.
Oh.
This guy, Brandon, I'm going to share it right now. This guy, Brandon, I'm going to butcher his name. I'll tell you that right now. Lespanic. Here we go.
Oh boy.
Leipzig or whatever.
Leipzig?
There you go. He basically, this forward, let up a whole firestorm on his his Instagram when he was considered to be vulgar and misogynistic about something he said about, I guess they ran into some girls somewhere and they were having guy talk. Okay. And we've heard about this before, the locker room humor, and it didn't go over well. Okay. And the NHL forced him to come out and kind of backtrack and say that, hey, that was unacceptable. And here's a picture of the guy.
This is a G-rated sport.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, give me a friggin' break. I mean, I think I tracked it down. Let's see. Can I bring it up here without? I might have to take that one off, and I'll bring this one up. I tracked down the actual Twitter account, so we can share this up here. And this is basically what this guy says. Okay.
Oh yeah, the transfer.
Roll him up, and as you can see, rather, it's basically, actually, I think I got to get the first one up.
Not a transcript.
It'll be a fun night. Can he drink at least? Meaning the friend. Either way, you're going to need him to secure a bag for me. Who are these chicks? I honestly hope they're fat so I can just degrade them. Let's. What if she just smokes? Then that's a bonus, and I'll still degrade them. Oh my god! So obviously they're looking to smoke weed or something.
That was
with
actually
these
funny.
chicks, and this guy is. That's great. And he says, "Imagine being at ASU and dating this, and bringing this thing back home."
Ooh.
Oh man,
Ooh.
I only wish that. What a fridge!
What a unit!
She is a lot to handle in the sack, boys.
And this is on Twitter?
Yeah, I can't believe this.
That takes a lot of chutzpah.
Well, like they didn't know that they're talking about. So you can kill the night.
Well, I guess it's
busting 7 pumps. I was blown away. So he basically was talking about how he banged these girls.
probably no different.
About.
Yeah, it's no different than what that
Okay.
not F1 driver, but the NASCAR driver let loose with the N word.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty much the same
But I
thing.
mean, I wonder if these guys are gonna like face like civil charges, because if they're talking about these chicks, now they didn't name them by name, I don't
Yeah, I
think.
was gonna say.
So, but my God, you think these athletes would be smart? They're not smart.
That sounds like something a football player would do, not really
Yeah,
a
right.
hockey player. They've taken less knocks to the head,
I know.
maybe.
I know. So that's just great. And I also saw that there was this one thing trending about Gabrielle Union. Okay. And it says here she once told Steph and Stephon Curry, he's the basketball player, that the likelihood of their relationship was very low to working out. So
You know what that means.
she didn't expect much from Aisha and Steph Curry's relationship. Certainly not marriage. 8 years and counting. Wow. That's
All 8
pretty
years.
crazy. And as you can see here, this is Gabrielle, and this is Curry, and I guess his wife now, his wife. But you know what? It's funny because it's almost like sour grapes, right?
That's exactly.
You know?
I was gonna say it's pretty much what it is.
I think she secretly wanted to be with him, and she, now since she wasn't picked, maybe the friend was picked.
Oh, I see.
And now it's like sour grapes, and she's just kind of shooting one over the bow.
Shots fired.
Yeah, shots fired.
Shots fired. They want to test the water.
That's it. Yeah, she wants to know. She wants some of that Steph,
Yeah.
So,
There you go. Well,
see, what is this? Like you said, at Rob says it's in the reply.
that's funny.
It is so yeah. So again, I just, but I think that's typical. We see that a lot. When it's, a lot of times it's happened with chicks. They'll see a happy relationship, and they try the best they can to kind of sow those seeds of doubt. They see, there's, oh well, he should be doing this, girl, or whatever, meaning full well that she knows that's bullcrap.
Anything to start throw a monkey wrench in the works, if you will.
Yeah. But you don't want it to end up like our friend Earl Thomas.
Oh boy.
Who was arrested. Well, his wife was arrested for confronting him with a gun.
That could have gone horribly wrong in a hurry.
It says here the wife of Baltimore safety Earl Thomas was arrested last month in Texas after pointing a loaded gun at her husband's head during an argument. It seems that
charged with what?
What?
Charged with what? What was that up the top there?
Well, she was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Oh boy.
Or at least the attempt to do that. So, and basically this was all brought upon because she, through his Snapchat, was able to find out that he and his brother went to a hotel with some girl and her girlfriend. So I think some of these guys have to really try to cover their tracks a little bit better.
Yeah, not for nothing. He's a football player, right?
Yeah.
Took a little too many knocks to the head. Yeah, not for nothing. She should have pistol whipped his ass once to smarten him up a little bit.
Well, you know what though, Franklin? It's like the sports wives, and it's also with music, right? Music wives, they kind of know that it kind of comes with the territory that you're going to get, these hanger-ons, and there's, these guys are going to do that. A lot of them, they do it with the trade-off of, I'm getting a good life versus, this is what I got to deal with. Sometimes he comes home late. You know what I'm saying?
Heather Locklear is a bonehead too. She's got all kinds of issues, but I think she looks so good, you're willing to put up with it.
Well, Heather Locklear, is that what you said?
Heather Locklear, she's bona fide. That's all, folks, man.
She literally went crazy once.
Yeah, she's done it a couple of times.
So,
Dude, she's done it a couple of times.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think she was actually even hospitalized.
Yeah, she was. She spent a lot of time in that that inpatient place.
I didn't know.
Months.
There you go. So,
Yeah.
geez, that's a long time.
Bullrest says it's the majority of women. Yeah.
A burner phone. That's a good idea.
Oh,
Oh, baby, don't call me.
Yeah,
Call me on the phone.
that's true.
A burner phone.
And Rob says that's more of a felony than aggravated. So
Yeah. Well, if you're looking at that article, it was pretty interesting. They said that there was something about burglary or something in that article. I didn't get a chance to read it all, but there was something about burglary, and she was slapping somebody with a free hand. It was a Beretta 9mm too. That's a pretty heavy gun.
yeah, well, again, she showed up at the hotel where, him and his brother and the girl and I guess her girlfriend were hanging out. So Marty's in the house. What's up, Marty?
There he is. Hey, Marty.
Poor Heather has hit the wall, and that will drive any thought crazy. Yeah. Oh, dude. Marty, she is well past thought range or anything that really would make anybody call anything. I mean,
I think
problems.
Really, I think sadly right now, Pamela Anderson can look at her and say, "Wow, that chick is messed up."
Yeah. Bull Rush says the trick is to not make it obvious. Women don't want to be embarrassed. Keep it on the That's true.
Yeah, that's very true.
You don't throw it in their face. So, and I mean, he definitely did. And Rob said it before. If you're going to do something stupid, don't make it easy to get caught. Have a burner phone, a spare phone, where that's where you contact. And actually, next week, I'll throw it out there now since we're talking about this. I'm going to give him credit. Donovan Sharp is going to be on the program next week, and that's a tremendous guest. He has a tremendous following. He has his own program, the Sharp TSR Live, Sharp Reality Live. He's a kind of neighborhood guy. He's not in New York, but he's in Philadelphia. But that's going to be a tremendous show. But he gives a 10-point must system if you want to screw around and how not to get caught. And he says one of those is the burner phone, and don't let her know where you work. That's another big one that he talks about. And we can talk about stuff like this. But he makes a lot of tremendous points, and actually you should go over there and check out his channel. Again, Donovan Sharp. He's got I think he's got 2 channels on YouTube. And his production value is through the roof. He's done so much. He's put so much into it, quality wise, that it's tremendous. But we're gonna have a lot of fun with him next week. So
looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Let's see. Rob says Philly in the house. Yeah, Philly will definitely be in the house next week. So, and we'll get. Hopefully, we can get some good backstory with Donovan. I have a bunch of questions to ask him because he's lived in a lot of different areas. He's lived in Vegas for a while. Wow. He's moved around, so he's got a good story. So I want to hear that. Have him flesh that one out.
Yeah, I've listened to him a couple of times. I learned a lot. So I'm thinking next week's going to be a Franklin listen show as opposed to editorial comment, Franklin.
Well, you know what? It's not, because I think Donnie is a very fun guy, and I think everybody knows that our show is not the button up, have a tie, do that kind of thing. So I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with him, and
I have to wear a tie next week because you said that.
that's right, no tie, or you could have it, you can even have a clip on and just like throw it off. There you go. So, but all right. Once again, if you want to call in and you want to do that, just do it now in the next 5 minutes, because we're going to be wrapping up here. We're at about an hour and 20. It is the witching hour. 224-231-4652. Franklin, we have a sponsor, correct?
We most certainly do. And that sponsor, believe it or not, is tacticalsoap.com. This show is brought to you by our sponsor, the Grondike Tactical Soap Company. Basically at tacticalsoap.com. The soap made for men by men.
There you go. And it's not Menon. That's a different company.
Yeah, it's not Menon. That's for sure. One other thing though is when you go to that site, I actually just recently completed an evaluation of their product, and I have to tell you something. I like it a lot. It's good stuff. It does what it said, and I forgot to mention the coupon code of Von Erik upon checkout. You'll get some nice discount. So don't forget, that's the tacticalsoap.com.
Yeah!
There you
Yes,
go.
sir.
All right. At Franklin, he puts his pants on the same as you.
What pants? I have no pants
That's
down
right.
here, dude.
This is like, like they say with, everybody working from home, all the reporters, some of them are wearing their shorts. Some of them are wearing, in the case of Franklin, he's wearing nothing at all.
Nothing down there.
That's it.
Nothing down there.
At all.
Oh my.
George.
So, all right. And again, if you wish to help out the program, get involved, you can do so through streamlabs.com/Cris Von Erik. You should be already following us on Twitter at Von Erik. Definitely do that, because you'll have our witty updates, our witty sayings, any alerts. We throw them up there, especially if there's any scheduling changes. I like to do that on Twitter, so get over there and follow at Von Erik. The dedicated Facebook page, as always, is facebook.com/Cris Von Erik. You may be watching it right now live. You won't be watching it after this ends, because I pull it down, and you then have to get your butt over to YouTube, where you should be subscribing. You should be liking the videos, comment on them, and hit that alert button, like Franklin said so eloquently before.
Yep.
Make sure you hit the top one that has the little kind of ringing thing, because that is the all alerts. So this way you'll get, you might even get stuff from the past, which you may not have even known existed. So there was a time when our shows really were not even produced this much. So you might get something very interesting. And soundcloud.com/Cris Von Erik. That is the link for the audio versions of the episode. They change weekly, so check that out. And as we always like to do here, a good friend of the program, Rollo Tomasi, his book, The Rational Male, is a tremendous read. He soon will be coming out with a fourth book. I think it's on religion. So if you are scholars of such things, actually, I shouldn't say that. His religion book isn't like really in, like in the weeds kind of doctrine. I think what from what he tells me, it kind of touches bases on all the religions and gets the idea of like, what is like relationships like for like a Muslim? What is it like from the vantage point of a Hindu guy? Stuff like that. So I think that actually is pretty interesting. So that'll be his new book that's coming out. But the original is The Rational Male, and you can get it at therationalmale.com/the book. And it's available on Amazon, Audible.
Audible. That's how I listen to it.
Yeah. So, TMI, Marty says TMI. Yes, Marty, yes. What could be the new intro to the show, Franklin? Oh, yeah, that's right. That could be the start of it.
My pals.
And here is Franklin. Franklin, you have your pants on.
My
pals. If you do, we could even give you a little this. There you go. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The show was tremendous, Franklin. I think our guest tonight was, like I said, he was unique. He was a man of the land, literally.
Literally, right.
And just tremendous. So, again, a shout out goes out to Joe and his plenary website, and to all our chat heads, I like to call them. Thank you for being there and contributing to the program. That's the one thing that's the other thing that is different about our show. We always have the guys in the chat available. We like to see you guys there. We would like to get the input, your comments, all the time. So, and that's never going to change. There will never be a day when Von Erik and the show The Red Lens, or whatever show, we happen to come at you with, is ever going to not have our chat up and available to everybody, because we are the show that takes on all comers,
It's to the show.
So, yeah. So
it's to the show. There's no doubt about that.
We're not unique if we're not having you guys all coming with us. And that's what it's about. So I thank you guys in the chat. I thank you guys that are watching this and that will be watching this on upload. Franklin, it goes without saying that I thank you for being here.
As always, it's great to be here, Chris.
All right. And with that, we will see you guys next week. I want to wish you all a very good night and God bless.
A good weekend.